بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين
اللهم صل على محمد.
اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. The third hadith that has been used as a basis, as a proof for قاعده الالزام is what Sheikh Kulayni narrates from Ali ibn Ibrahim from his father, means Ibrahim ibn Hashim, from Ibn Abi Umayr, who is a great narrator, and he was someone that ulama say even his marasil are like masanid. عن عمر بن عذينة عن عبد الله بن محرز or محرز قلت لأبي عبد الله عليه السلام. He said, I told Imam Sadiq عليه السلام, رجل ترك ابنته وأخته لأبيه وأمه. A person has died and left a daughter and a sister from the same father and mother. Okay? فقال المال كله لابنته وليس للأخت من الأب والأم شيء. All the inheritance goes to the daughter and not to the sister, because the children are one circle ahead, closer, because different levels. فقلت فإنا قد احتجنا إلى هذا والميت رجل من هؤلاء الناس وأخته مؤمنة عارفة. He says, I told Imam alayhi salam, this money is needed for this sister. The sister is عارفتun, means he knows haq, is mu'mina, okay? But the person who has died, the brother, was not a Shia. The sister is a Shia. According to the mazhab of the person who died, the brother, sister inherits. According to the mazhab of the sister, she should not inherit, but she is needy. According to this hadith, if it is authentic, Imam said, فَخُذْ لَهَا النِّصْفُ. In that case, take half of the inheritance for her, half for the daughter, half for the sister. خُذُوا مِنْهُمْ كما يأخذون منكم في سنتهم وقضاياهم. So you can take from them what they would have taken from you when they judge, or if you go to the court, because at that time courts were run by non-Shia, okay? According to their mazhab, a sister also was inheriting. Okay? So if it was opposite, the brother was, for example, Shia and the sister was Sunni, or both of them were Sunni. Anyway, they were giving half to the sister. So, although in our fiqh, the sister, when the daughter exists, would not inherit, but because this person who has passed away, in his fiqh, his sister would inherit, we would say the sister can inherit. Do you understand? Ibn Udayna, who is the person who narrated from Abdullah and then from Abi Abdullah. Remember this, because there is an issue about reliability of Abdullah ibn Muhraz or Mihraz, and we want to use this point that Umar ibn Udayna talked to Zurara about this hadith. So even if that Abdullah is problematic, Zurara endorsed this hadith by saying that this إن على ما جاء به ابن محراز or محرز لنورا. What this Ibn Muhraz has mentioned for you, has brought you, means this hadith that he has brought you from Imam Sadiq has light. So it means that Zurara accepted this. Okay? And he was very knowledgeable about the teachings of Ahlul Bayt. The fourth hadith. Shaykh al-Tusi narrates from Ali ibn al-Hasan ibn Faddal an al-Sindi ibn Muhammad al-Bazzaz an al-Ala ibn al-Razin al-Qala an Muhammad ibn Muslim an Abi Ja'far alayhi salam from Imam Baqir alayhi salam. Sa'altuhu an al-ahkam. I asked Imam Baqir alayhi salam about rulings. قال تجوز على أهل كل ذوي دين ما يستحلون. تجوز doesn't mean here it's permissible. تجوز means it goes on. Because you know جاز يجوز means to pass. Yeah? جاز يجوز. For example, we say for passport, we say jawaz safar. Yeah, because jaza yajuz means to pass. There is a hadith about bridge of Sirat. The Quran says, "En minkum salam alaikum." En minkum, there is none of you except that you should be exposed to it. Wariduha. Okay? All of you have to be.
Surah Maryam.
Yes. Then hadith says, Judnaha wahiya khamidatu. We passed by it, by hell, by fire, while the fire was extinguished. Juznaha. Jaza yajuza. Means to pass. Okay? So everyone would have to cross the hell, but for them it was extinguished. Okay? Of course, when we say past tense, it's because it is certain and in future. You know, in Arabic, when something is certainly happening in future, you can use past tense.
Like قد أفلح المؤمنون.
And for example, many times, you know, we have past tense, you know. جاء القيامة وكذا.
Which Quran is this? Which surah is it?
What?
Where you just quoted.
This is hadith. جزناها
But then you choose Naha.
وهي خامدة.
Is it the hadith or is it
Is
the
hadith.
Hadith.
Yes.
From Imam Sadiq.
I don't remember exactly which ma'soom, but one of the ma'sooms.
He has been asked about this ayah, وَإِن مِّنكُمْ إِلَّا وَارِدُهَا.
Yeah. Okay. So, تجوز على أهل كل ذوي دين ما يستحلون. Although you can say it's possible, it's permissible, but I think it's more accurate to say it's past. Means it's accepted. Yeah, it's like a kind of imdha. تجوز mean it goes. You know, we say like it goes without saying, means, yeah. So here means whatever adherence to any religion accept as halal, yastahillun. Yastahillun means they find it to be halal. So whatever they find it to be permissible according to their own religion is going on, means it's passed, means it's accepted. It's recognized. Okay, these are 4 hadiths. First, let's have a quick look at the chains of narration. The first hadith from Sheikh Tusi, المطلقة على غير السنة أن يتزوجها الرجل. Okay, this hadith has two problems. One problem is that Abdullah ibn Jibillah doesn't mention the name of the person that he has received the hadith. He says غير واحد, more than one person. So he doesn't say who was that person. This is causing irsal. You know irsal, mursal means the names are not completely mentioned. Maybe one, maybe more.
Broken chain.
Yes. The second problem is غير واحد عن whom? Ali ibn Abi Hamza. Ali ibn Abi Hamza al-Batani was Waqifi. Okay? So, there are two problems. With respect to Irsal, he says we can solve the problem. How? We say, normally when they say غير واحد, it means three or more people. If it was just two, they say an اثنين or رجلين. Normally this means three or more people. So, it's very unlikely, almost the possibility is zero, that all those people are weak. So, when more than three or more than three people have narrated the same thing, it seems to be something that you can maybe not have 100% certainty, but you can have itmi'nan. You know, itmi'nan is different from yaqeen. Yaqeen means certainty. Itmi'nan here in fiqh and usul means a kind of one which is very, very high, 99% for example. It's causing itmi'nan, sukun, tranquility, rest. Because the chance of other side is very little. You can ignore it. So the problem of irsal can be solved in this way. To say three people, they all have lied or made mistake, it's very unlikely. But what should we do with respect to the second problem? And that is Ali ibn Abi Hamza al-Batani. He was known to be Waqifi. You know Waqifi, they believe up to Imam Kazim alayhi salam. They didn't believe in Imam Raza alayhi salam. Sheikh Tusi, you know, there are few people whose ideas in Al-Murrajal are very important. One is Sheikh Tusi, and one is Kashi, one is Najashi. Their ideas are very important. So Sheikh and Najashi, they have not mentioned tawthiq for him. So Ali ibn Abi Hamza al-Batani have not been mentioned as thiqah by Sheikh and Najashi. And Kashi goes further. Yes. Question? Question?
Yeah, and Ali ibn Hamza Batani, before announcing the Mazhab al-Fiqhiyyah,
Yes.
what about the time period before?
Yes, we discussed that. Yes. Kashi, who is another great early scholar of Ilm al-Rajal, who is very important, narrates from Ibn Fawwad that Ali ibn Abi Hamza al-Batani kadhab, mal'oon. He is very much against him, says he's liar. Of course, he quotes from Ibn Fawwad and says he's mal'oon, he's cursed. And another place says muttaham, means he's suspicious,
Muttaham is like
charged with accusation.
On what did he base his grounds? To
Okay,
these
now,
accusations?
yes. There is also a hadith about him that Imam Raza alayhi salam, according to this hadith, is quoted as saying that Ibn Bata'ini, after his death, was asked to sit in his grave and was asked about the names of Imams. So he mentioned the name of first Imam, second Imam, third Imam, up to Imam Qadhem was all right. But he didn't believe in eighth Imam. And of course, you have to remember, a person might be excused in not knowing Imams. For example, a Sunni maybe doesn't know Imam, but he is a Shia who was Wakil of Imam al-Qa'id. You know? So you cannot say he didn't know. You know, someone sometimes doesn't know. But, so, when reached this,
مولانا we have narration hadith from Imam Rida alayhi salam when he was with many companions and he said to them, if you كشف لكم الغطاء, you will see Ali ibn Hamza al-Bata'ani, how the angels punished him and hit him.
yeah, maybe it's the same thing. So, حتى انتهى إلي فسئل فوقف. When reached the eighth Imam, they asked him, who is your eighth Imam? He stopped. فضرب على رأسه ضربة امتلأ قبره نارا. Then at that time, he received a punishment. Okay. But we have to analyze all this. The author, Sheikh Irwani, says, Ali ibn Abi Hamza al-Bata'ani was Wakil of Imam Qadim in collecting and transferring wujuhat, homes, zakat, all donations. And he was a person trusted by Imam. So, is it possible that Imam alayhi salam makes someone wakil and that person later becomes bad? Yes, it's possible. But is it possible that Imam makes someone as wakil who is not thiqah at that time? No. Okay? So now all the question is, when he narrates, was it narrated when he was on the right track, or it was after wuquf, after he became waqifi? If it's before he became waqifi, so it's all right. He's reliable. And those people who say he is kadhabun, muttahamun, or kadha, they refer to the idea of waqf afterwards. Okay? Especially, you have to remember, this is also one point. You may say, okay, how I can know that this was before or after? We say, if he was waqifi, then look at the hadith, for example, here or other places. Who are the people who are quoting from him? When our ulama are quoting a hadith from him, or those early narrators of hadith that we know they were very reliable, if they quoted from him, it shows that they must have quoted from him before he became waqifi. Can you think honest and loyal Shia narrates from Ali ibn Abi Hamza al-Bata'ani when he became waqifi and against Imams? No. So it must be that this hadith is from before. Okay? So, he says, these riwayat which are mentioned from him must be before his inhiraf, before his deviation. Especially, you find people like Ibn Abi Umair narrating from Ali ibn Abi Hamza. People like Safwan. Okay? And Shaykh Tusi, in his book on Usul, which is Al-Udda, he says, At-Ta'ifah is the community, or Shia community, they act according to the hadith of Ali ibn Abi Hamza al-Bata'ani if there is no mu'ariz. Of course, if there is mu'ariz, then of course two reliable hadith contradicts another issue. But if there is no mu'arez, Shaykh Tusi says the Shia accept hadith of Ali ibn Abi Hamza
What do you mean by
al-Batar.
mu'arad?
So,
What is mu'arad?
mu'arez, conflict. We had ta'arud, yes. You have question?
Yes, Sheikh.
Yes.
Just because he's become waqifi, does it affect the power? Affect the reliability of the person? Maybe he's not adil anymore, but he still might be reliable.
It's possible if he was a person who really didn't know the truth. It's possible. But for someone in that position that he was so much with Aimma and Vakil of Imam, he was not a stranger or someone who had no knowledge. It's very difficult. But still it's possible. We are not now dealing about that side. We want to say, even if anyone has said he was kadhab or muttaham, they must mean afterwards. We don't want to say, yes, he was a liar or not afterwards. But when we say it would not affect his history, his past. Even some of these people sometimes have returned again back to the right track. The second riwayah, Sheikh Irwani says it's very difficult to verify its sanad because we have Jilawai, and this Jilawai is possible to verify, but then we have after that other people, Muhammad ibn Yahya, and then after Muhammad ibn Yahya and Ahmad ibn Muhammad ibn Isa and Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Ash'ari and Abi. Muhammad ibn Yahya and Ahmad ibn Muhammad ibn Isa, even if we verify them, of course Ahmad ibn Muhammad ibn Isa is very reliable. Muhammad ibn Yahya, if we can verify him, because there are two Muhammad ibn Yahya, the problem is with Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Ash'ari. He says he is majhul, his father also, and Abi, he is also majhul. So it's very difficult to verify the sanad of the second hadith. The third one also we have Abdullah ibn Muhraz or Mihraz. He is also a problem, but because Ibn Udayna, Umar ibn Udayna says Zurara commented on this hadith, so that can solve the problem. The fourth is Sahiha, is authentic. Okay, so at least some of them are verified. The next question is, this is a very important question. Maybe practically you would not find it very significant, but theoretically it's very important. And maybe sometimes it has practical also implication. Does قاعده الالزام imply validity of what is practiced according to another jurisprudence, according to another school of fiqh, or just says we permit it, it's not valid? So if, for example, two non-Shia, they had divorce without witnesses. For us, divorce without just witnesses, two just witnesses, is void. But we say, if for them it was okay, that divorce is okay, and that woman now can marry to a Shia, because that woman, according to her own Sharia, had the divorce. Okay? So, does it mean that we say that divorce is valid, or does it mean that we say it's just practically we accept it, and we say just it's permissible to marry? So, this is a question. There is a discussion here that makes this question more kind of relevant or more appealing. And that is, so that you really understand that this question sometimes can be more important. Imagine these two people who were not Shia and they had divorce without witnesses. Later they become Shia. Then for them that divorce is, if it was, we say if it was valid, then it's okay. Otherwise, then now they have to repeat the divorce. And if, of course, that woman is married when was not a Shia, and now becomes a Shia, what happens? Or the man was not a Shia and become a Shia. Some ulama have said if they both become Shia and have not married to anyone else, they remain in marriage. Okay?
The problem is when they marry.
Because when they were non-Shia, for them that divorce was okay. But when they both become Shia, that divorce is not for them valid.
That's become invalid afterward. After they become Shia, the previous divorce become invalid.
So they say it means that it was not then valid. And just now it's unveiled. Okay? So, but those who say قاعده al-Ilzam requires or implies validity, then okay, if it is valid, then it's valid. How can we say something which was valid, it's now becoming void? Okay? So, Ayatollah Hakim Rahmatullah alayhi, when he was alive, this question was asked. He says, قد طرح هذا كسؤال على السيد الحكيم أيام حياته. When he was alive, they asked him this question. You may say, of course, obvious that he was alive, otherwise they couldn't ask him question. But it means that this question was, even at that time, relevant. The question was there. So they asked him this question. And he said, the woman remains in marriage of her husband. But another scholar, Sheikh Hussein al-Hilli, not Allama Hilli, this is a recent scholar, said, no, that divorce was valid, and even if later changed their mazhab to Shia, still it's valid.
But that will cause a lot of problems.
Pardon?
She's divorced and now married off to someone else and
No, it's married off, that's no problem. But if they are not married,
What about that famous incident which
Allama Hilli.
Allama Hilli's one?
So, according to Allama Hilli, the famous story, so he said, from Shia point of view, divorce in one majlis as is not counted as three, and also because there was no witness, it's not accepted. Okay? So, the king accepted Shia mazhab, and therefore the divorce was not accepted. Okay? Or you could say he believed in the possibility of choosing any madhab. And said according to one madhab is okay, according to one madhab is not okay.
So according to Allama Hilli, we can say that this qaidatul ilzam is not given the
No, it's not qadi al-Ilzam because it was the person himself. It was not about someone else. Yeah? Okay. So the question is, what we understand from these hadiths? Do we understand validity of what is practiced according to one school of fiqh in Islam, or it is just ibaha, means we can permit it? When you look at the references, the resources that we have, which mention those conditions that are not fulfilled here. For example, when you read the hadith about the necessity of having witness in the time of divorce, the first thing that comes to mind is that these are real conditions. Yeah? And without them, divorce cannot be valid. Because these are real conditions. So to say that even without these conditions, it's still valid, it's difficult, according to Sheikh Shomali. But we can say, we recognize it. Okay? For example, we say it is necessary that Imam must say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And if a Shia Imam doesn't say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, we cannot follow him if he intentionally doesn't say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It's a real condition. But if a non-Shia Imam, according to his mazhab, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is not needed, okay, you can say your prayer behind him. Okay, according to most of our marajo, almost maybe all.
No, recite yourself. Bismillah.
No, according to most of them, you don't need to recite your hamd, whatever. So the question is Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim a real condition or real part for us? Yes. But does it stop you to follow a Sunni Imam who doesn't say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim? No. Because for them, this is not needed. Okay? So, we don't want to say, not saying it still can leave Salat valid for our perspective, but we don't want also to say it's invalid for you to say prayer behind them. Because he is doing Salat in the way that for him it's valid. So he doesn't need to say his Salat in the way that it's valid for us so that we can say our Salat behind him.
We follow exactly the same way like we follow our own Imam.
But if it was a Shia, he has to say Salat in the way that is valid for us as well. Of course, we have issue of if they follow different maraj, what happens, sometimes, But in general, a Shia must say Salat in a valid way according to our mazhab, because we follow the same mazhab. But if he follows another mazhab, doesn't need to be valid for us. It has to be valid for themselves. But, of course, there are some issues. For example, if the time is not the time of Salat, that's another issue. But if timing is okay, but some parts, some conditions are different. Anyway, this is a very broad topic in fiqh. What we want to say is validity may not be something kind of fixed. We can say validity for us requires something, but still we recognize someone else from another mazhab's practice as something that we can have a valid interaction with it. Like say prayer behind them, marry, all these type of things. Okay? So it's not a kind of pluralism. But at the same time, it doesn't stop us from interaction and respecting.
Do you have the new lying behind the Sunni Imam? Do you have inside you say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim?
According to our Sistani.
You should do it.
Okay. So this is the question. Then Sheikh Irwani says we can go back to all these hadiths and again see whether they require validity or not validity. And I think what we said is more than enough for us. For our purpose. Of course, what he says is also important. Then the other question is it only a matter of people from other denominations in Islam that we can apply قاعده al-Ilzam, or it includes also people of other religions? It's not only Sa'ir al-Madhahib, it can be Sa'ir al-Adyan, Sa'ir al-Diyanat. He says it seems it's possible to be extended to people of other religions. First, he says, when you can do this with respect to other schools of Islam, so it means that with respect to people of other religions also should be possible. Because, sometimes differences between madhahib are more difficult than different religions. Yeah? So for example, I'm sure everyone knows that we accept marriage of a Christian. But then some Muslims, for example, may say, do we accept the marriage of other mazahib of Islam? Yeah, even today, maybe you find some people who say Shia's practices are not okay. Yeah? Maybe they don't have difficulty with Christians or Jews, but they have difficulty with Shia.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's possible. So this is one point. The second point is that in Sahihah of Muhammad ibn Muslim, the hadith number 4, which was Sahihah, the last one, we had سألته من سألته إمام الباقر عن الأحكام قال تجوز على كل أهل كل ذوي دين ما يستحلون. Imam says ذي دين, not ذي مذهب. Yeah, so it seems that it's for all religions, not because we don't consider mazahib as deen. Deen is more general, it's for religions. Then there are some examples. I mentioned maybe 1-2 examples because I want to finish today this rule. For example, the Shia don't believe in necessity of having witnesses for marriage. For nikah, you don't need ishhad. Yeah, you don't need to bring witnesses. Some non-Shia, some Sunni Muslims, they said, we agree with the Shia. Some said, actually many of them said, it's making marriage void if there is no witness. And some said it's void if it is not declared. At least it has to be declared. Okay. So, if لو تزوج رجل من العامة, if one of the non-Shia marries to a woman, but one of those non-Shia who believe in invalidity of marriage without ishhad marries a woman without ishhad, and according to his fiqh it is void. Okay? Then they are separated. So, because according to their mazhab, it was void. So
Marriage is not void.
according to the Shia, it's possible to marry that woman because for them it was void. Although if they were Shia, it was not void. Yeah? But they themselves say, no, there must be witness, it's void without witness. We say, okay, according to yourself it's void, so you are not married? You say, yes, we are not married. You say, okay, so now she can marry to a Shia. Okay? This is one point. Another issue. For non-Shia, it's not possible to marry an aunt and niece. Aunt in the sense of mother of your father is your aunt, because in English it's very vague, you know, it can be many different options. But mother of your father, sister of your father, I said mother? Sister of your father, or khale, like sister of your mother.
Khale and Amme.
Pardon?
Amme and Khale.
Yes. So imagine there are two ladies. One of them is the niece of the other one. But I mean by niece, there is a relation. Either it's mother of the sister of the mother or sister of the father. Okay? Is it clear? So, in Sunni mazhab, non-Shia, they said it's not possible. You cannot marry, and if you marry, for example, both of them at the same time, both of them are void. If you marry one of them first, then the second marriage is void. Okay? For Shia scholars, normally the idea is, if you marry the niece, you can marry the aunt later. But if you marry the aunt and you want to marry the niece, needs permission. Permission of the wife. Okay? So, for us, it's not categorically void. For them, it's categorically void. So, if someone married an aunt and niece and was not Shia, and according to them, it's void. So, they are not married according to them. And now a Shia wants to marry one of them. So, he can marry. Because for them, it was void. Yes?
For the first premise, I'm very confused. I thought you could not marry your aunt in any case.
Not your aunt, aunt of your wife.
Aunt of a wife.
There are two women, one of them is niece of the other one.
I thought you know.
Yeah. Another question, another case. There is a divorced woman who is Ya'isa, doesn't have period anymore. According to the Shia, there is no need for iddah.
No need for that.
Nothing for?
No need for iddah. She doesn't need to observe iddah after divorce if she is Ya'isa. According to non-Shia, might need iddah. Okay? So now, if this woman becomes Shia, okay? She doesn't need to observe iddah, but she can demand nafaqah at the time of iddah. Okay? Because that's the way they did this divorce, and according to that mazhab. And there are issues like this. I think it's more than enough. The time is over and we are late. So this was قاعده الالزام. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.